I was speaking to a client yesterday about a circumstance she's in with her brother, who said something very intensely unkind to her some months ago. And they haven't really been speaking since then. But on our call yesterday, she was explaining that her body, there's some things going on that she doesn't understand that seem to come completely out of the blue. She's having digestive issues, almost a bit of a cold, and she has a story about that, which is that since COVID, we're all having more extreme colds for no random reason. And I kind of giggled because don't I love it when we have a story about why something is happening that makes some kind of logical sense but has no grounding in the expression of the body or in the intelligence of our cells. So without performing a full reading on her or decoding of her particular symptoms, I mentioned, hey, last week you were in contact with your brother. I know that he's going through something and that you were asked to support him and you weren't so happy about that, but you did. And there's this patterning that you are working to release of kind of mothering him and serving and overgiving to him. How do you feel about what took place? And, she wasn't happy because he actually didn't seem very grateful, hadn't thanked her for showing up, and still, following their conflict, which was many months ago now, she's waiting for an apology. She's waiting for the recognition that what he said was terrible. She's waiting for the release from that conflict by his behavior. She wants an apology and then she'll let it go. And symptoms don't come from nowhere. Symptoms in the body always come from emotional states which are being suppressed or not fulfilled. And the symptoms in the body are a reflection of where your state has been. So they are the number one place where we can catch ourselves out. When we say that we're fine, when we say everything's great, when there are physical symptoms, they let us know that our state has been something outside of fine on the negative spectrum. And that is not a problem. That is never something to deny, suppress, or avoid. Doing that will only have the symptoms persist, because the less we listen to them and understand them and neutralize ourselves, the more the body is nudging us to do that. That is the purpose of symptoms, to help us come into our neutrality and our natural state of well-being. And so in such an instance, there's an opportunity there to really witness. I always say the body is a truth teller. Witness the truth of what's happening. The truth of what's happening is the only thing that's bothered you in the last little while has been this story, this dynamic. And what you're saying is you're waiting for his behavior to change your state. And this is a perfect example, and the reason I'm sharing it is precisely this. We consider forgiveness to be something that we give, and it's actually commonly said that you don't give forgiveness for the other person, you give forgiveness to yourself, to release yourself. And this is just the perfect example. But how do we forgive then? Because forgiveness is not something nice, it's not an act that we perform. Forgiveness is something really real, that is a release inside of ourselves from the story of tension, the story of conflict, the story of victimhood, and at the same time a release from the story that I have to get that outside in order to feel this inside. It's inferred by what I just said. The outside, the body, the 3D circumstances are a reflection of where your state has been. This is what keeps us looping in our lives, waiting for the outside to change so that we can have an improved state. We will forever be waiting, and we will forever be looping until we quit that pattern. And we start to choose ourselves. We start to choose our state. We start to embody the power that we have to select our own state, to control how we feel and how we define ourselves and how we define the world. And it really is as simple as looking in that direction and recognizing, wow, I am causing pain to myself. I am making myself sick. The common story is, he's doing it to me. He's made me sick. He's given me L lines in my eyebrows because he has frustrated me so much. These are just different examples I've heard over the years, and some of which I have participated in and, still do. But as soon as we see what we're doing, that's our opportunity to drop it, to choose ourselves, to choose our power, to choose our state. And this is all the more easy to do the more we are in touch with the truth of this reality, that everyone outside is just a reflection of me. They cannot show up differently than they do, because the design of our life is perfect. It is designed by a higher hand, a higher intelligence. And so those difficult 3D circumstances, just like those difficult physical symptoms, are here to awaken me to my power. They are here to lead me back to my nature. And there's no need for the word forgiveness in nature, because there is just being in nature. There is no doing. There is a release. There is a shed when it's the season to shed. So if there's anyone in your world that you are sitting and inspecting the topic of forgiveness as you face them, remember that they are your mirror. For the mirror to change, you must change what you offer. So if you're grumpily, confusedly looking at someone and waiting for them, just consider you're doing that to a mirror. And at what point do you give up and just smile? And this smile is what then shows up. It cannot be different to that. It's very confronting, it's very challenging, only because we were raised to behave in the inverse way. And it does require you to drop all the stories, all the conventional modes of relationship advice and participation, which are like a wrecking ball through our world right now. You got to drop it. And just neutralize your own experience. Take responsibility for that. And the promise is, when you do, consistently, deliberately, stubbornly, and with love and from love, everyone around you will start to reflect the achievement that you've made. And the empowerment that goes with that is beyond typical comprehension. I'm not asking you to believe in me, but there's an invitation here to set yourself free, and at the very least, to feel the freedom you can give yourself right now. It's instantaneous. So leave any questions below. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the freedom, all the love that you deserve. Subscribe for more.